Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome to our twin flame conversation between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So, in the last reading that I did, we spoke about past life love, vows, promises, and bonds that carried forward through time. This reading goes one step further because some souls don't just meet again, they awaken each other. Twin flames are not meant to arrive easily or to stay quietly. They come back to break illusions, dissolve the ego, and can return. Really, their main job is to help you to return to yourself. And by the way, you also do that for them. So, if someone has changed you forever, even through separation, stay with me. This reading may explain exactly why. So, again, this is going to be a conversation between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and we are just kind of peeking, listening, see what they have to say. So, for the divine feminine, I am going to use the light seers. To connect the two, I'm going to use the crystal vision. For the divine masculine, I am going to use the universal tarot. And of course, how could I do a twin flame reading and not bring in the romance angels? But we will set them over there for now. I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. Not too much. There we go. Let's get the crystals in. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start with the divine masculine, but then I'm going to let the divine feminine kind of answer or show us like how the divine feminine, really it's both, like how they are communicating, some telepathically. And remember that you can do that. Your soul connected for eternity. So let's go ahead and give the Universal Tarot a shuffle. And for anybody new, just know that I pre-shuffle all my decks before I start a reading. This is when I really go into a meditative state um, to pick up any messages from our guides about the reading we're about to do. And, you know, I really very seldom now do a reading unless I'm feeling called to it. The past life reading I just did, I have to say, I thought it was beautiful. And I feel like it answered a lot of questions. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, I did it first because I knew I was going to do a twin flame. And I wanted to have that ready for you. So if you haven't watched it yet, you might want to check it out. But you know what? This reading will let us know too. So we're going to start with the divine masculine. And really, what I'm looking for right now, or let's say the first question I'm asking our guides, is their current energy. What is the divine masculine's current energy right now? And I am going to shuffle. You know, sometimes I take from the top of the deck, but something is telling me to shuffle. So I'm going to shut up and shuffle. Page of Cups. Oh my. Oh my. Holy cow. Hello, magician. Not only that, Hello, Ace of Cups. By the way, 1, 1. It is a number I associate with twin flames. If you've been with me, you know you've heard me say that often. How interesting. So, this is what I feel like is happening with the divine masculine at this moment. I love that the Ace of Cups is right in the middle. I feel like the divine masculine's energy, it does feel like it's right on time. Um, and I feel like the divine masculine had something that happened within their life that, and it could be you, um, where they really had to find like this inner healing, this inner understanding. You know, what I love also when you see the magician, this is the infinity symbol. As above, so below, no beginning, no end. Connected to the Ace of Cups, like, wow. So I feel like our divine masculine, for a period of time, has been in a healing, let's just call it a healing stage, healing the inner child. But also, I feel like healing love, like love within themselves, the way they love. I have a feeling I get this sense that as a child, and I know this is not going to be for everyone, but I do really feel that as a child, this person, you know, I feel like they're very sensitive, and that can mean psychic, but I also feel like they're sensitive to words. And I feel like something from back in the day, it kind of feels like their parents, but it's almost like this is how I learned to love. Oh, wow. Boy, that reminds me of the past life reading. This is how I learned to love. So I don't mind this at all. Like, if they need time to heal that inner child, because that's really what they're doing. But it is so that they can love. And with the magician there, I feel like, well, I know it represents 2026. And the magician is a great reminder that we have all the tools that we need to truly be successful. In what? Well, here, right next to the Ace of Cups, love. Love, baby, love. Okay, I accept that. So let's go ahead and look at the divine feminine's energy right now. And by the way, I'm not doing any type of spread. I'm doing what I call free will, or not free will, but like I'm just allowing it to come out the way it wants to come out. We have the High Priestess. I'm going to slide these up because I want to keep them connected. It's your intuition. It is literally like you are connecting to them. And it's interesting how I talked about telepathic communication. You know, some of you don't know that you have the power to reach each other through your thoughts, through your dreams. Like if you go to bed tonight, well, you will go to bed tonight, but when you go to bed tonight, I would ask, like, let me dream about my twin. Let me dream to see what energy it's being called for. Because I feel like the connection, it's like the veil has been lifted. Okay? And it's a two. It's actually when usually you'll see two ones with this, which would be 1111, make a wish. But two, soulmates. love, harmony. That's really what a 2 stands for. Look at this. The 3 of Swords just reversed itself under the Ace of Cups. It's like you're both in similar energy. You're healing your heart. You know, what I love is it feels like the pain of previous heartache is going away. Why? Because I feel like you're understanding it. If you're the divine feminine, I feel like you're understanding it. By the way, as soon as I said that, you may be the divine masculine, but be a female, and vice versa. So, when you're in a reading like this, what feels right is probably who you are. Okay. We have the Queen of Swords, and I want you to just look at her. She's calm. She's sitting. She's looking out at the world, at all that can be. It's like nostalgia. Her sword is down. It's funny, I feel like that's representing the ego also. Because remember, that's an important part of a twin flame journey. Like they will test our ego, and we will test theirs. But here, you're very calm. It's like I feel deep reflection. Like deep reflection, but also the openness to whatever is next. Coming under the Magician. Oh my gosh. And then we have the Star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But it's about manifesting them. And it is mirroring the High Priestess, your intuition. So it's like your guide just saying, oh, we're going to answer these dreams. But don't be surprised if we answer them a little differently than you expected. But that just means something is better for you. And I'm not talking about a person. I'm not sure what I'm talking about, other than that's what I'm supposed to say. I'm going to slide these over. I love that the Three of Swords reversed itself right in front of us. Right in front of us. Like, no doubt, Sandy, it's meant to be in reverse. There feels like there are a lot of answers that lie within. You know, sometimes we're searching outwardly where we carry the answers within us. Again, that ability to connect intuitively, telepathically. And, you know, let me just also say that if we have a lot of angst about this connection, well, they pick that up. But they may not pick it up as like, well, they could pick it up as like fear. So, you know, this is hard for me to say because I know some of you have already met your twin, but I do feel the necessity to keep my energy positive about this. You know, it's like whatever may happen. Now, I'm doing this reading, so I have a feeling that what is meant to happen is the two of you come together. You know, I feel like there's nothing better than the Star connected to the Magician. You want to talk about the power to manifest. and the magician reminding you that you truly have all the tools. I feel like it's the quiet mind. And this is maybe why I'm noticing, like with the queen, she just feels, I don't know what the word I want to use, calm, open. But she is thinking about her dreams. She's thinking about the divine masculine. Okay, so let's keep going. So, if the divine masculine is or was in this healing stage, knowing the importance of healing one's heart, and by the way, I feel like they did. So, I feel like past pain, and it feels like for both of you, is fading away or has the ability to fade away. Okay, so now that we know where the masculine's energy is, what is the masculine thinking right now? And I mean about love. Hopefully you. But whatever it may be, I am completely open. So, what is the divine masculine? What's he thinking? Like, look at this. Oh my God. Hello, star. So, you're both thinking about the same thing. And look at that coming under the high priestess. You know, even though this energy, I'm calling it the divine masculine, this the divine feminine, I want you to understand that all of this may resonate because you may also have gone through this period of time of healing a broken heart, healing what didn't work out, that type of thing. But here's the thing, you are both wishing upon a star, and it feels like the same star. Wow. By the way, card of Aquarius. And don't get mad at me if I don't give you signs. I mean, you can certainly give them signs, but I really want to just concentrate on the energy. All right, we have the hangman. The three of wands. Justice. Someone is becoming single, becoming independent, but on their own. Someone has poured their energy into their creativity as they were going through something difficult. Definitely feels like I am now single. And it makes sense with justice right before it. Justice can certainly relate to the law, like a divorce, but really it's just about cutting ties. And sometimes these ties are energetic, but it's about finding balance. When justice shows up in a reading, though I do feel it's twofold here, but it's also about making you whole again. This person, the masculine. Interesting how we went from 3 to 4 to 5. So let's slide them over. The 9 of Pentacles mirroring the star. I feel like the masculine was in a relationship with someone, and it does kind of feel like a free will. Um, I do feel like it may have taken them some time to end it, but ending it definitely feels like was the right move. And I'm not saying like I think people should go get divorced and that, but what I am saying is I don't feel like the masculine was happy, but wants to be happy. You have the Three of Wands right in the middle right now, which is really mirroring the the Ace of Cups. Three of Wands is the energy of optimism. It's living in the present moment, knowing that that's where your signs are sent, your guidance. And it is like giving divine control, just trusting that I know, well, here, that when we're meant to come together, we will come together. And it's not that easy, but yet in the same breath, it is. I don't know that I was going to say, why was I going to say the Emperor? Some of you may be connected to an Emperor, which would be Aries. Um, but what I was going to say is if this person is recently single, I do feel like there is a little time in between. Why? Because I don't feel like your guides want you in the mix of it. Like, this is something that they have to decide and then do and then move through. But it's showing them doing exactly that. I also feel like I have someone here who likes to work. I don't want to say a workaholic, but I feel like what I do, I really enjoy what I do. I feel like they're successful. And, I feel like I want to say the material world is important to them, but I don't mean it in a like I want everything. I don't mean it in that way. Okay. So I feel like as a divine masculine, if I'm going to come together with my divine feminine, then I want to make sure that I can take care of her in every way. And it's interesting because it reminds me of like old time chivalry. Is that the right word? You know what I mean? Where like a man would open the door for you. Not that men still don't do that, and women do that for men now. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm going back into I almost feel like I'm in the 40s or the 50s, maybe early 60s. And I don't even know why I'm giving a date. Some of you that may have been around the period you were born. So, anyways, I feel like the divine masculine had been seeking spiritual wisdom over whether to. Okay, so I was just about to say whether to end a connection, but I feel like in their heart they already knew they wanted to end it. It's like they were waiting for the perfect time, but is there ever a perfect time? And I feel like that's what their guide said. There really is no perfect time. The timing is now. If you know you're unhappy, if you know there's nothing left, then the timing is now. Hence the magician. Again, I'm just realizing again the Magician and 2 stars. All right. So, Divine Feminine, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about right now as it relates to love, as it relates to your love? What's on your mind? Tell me what's on the Divine Feminine's mind as it relates to love. 3 of Cups. Wow, joy. Interesting because the Divine Masculine has the 3 of Wands, optimism. You have the 3 of Cups. And I don't know why I'm saying you. Again, you may be the Divine Masculine here, you may be the Divine Feminine. But let's just say the Divine Feminine now in the energy of joy. It feels like because it's coming under the star, a wish being answered. And this may be why I heard our guide say, try to let go of control of exactly how it's answered. I'm still not sure why, other than I trust our guides, and I know that means probably better than I thought. It's funny, I feel like you're both wishing upon the same star. All right, anyway, let's get back to the 10 of Cups. I want the 10 of Cups. I want love. I want love that's going to last the rest of our lives. I want harmony. I want to be able to laugh, sing, dance, hold you. You hold me. I want us to be together. And I want us to live in the 10 of Cups. Why? Well, 4 of Cups explains it perfectly. And I shouldn't be laughing, and I'm not really laughing. I just, those type of laughs come from me just recognizing spirit answering our questions. So, the 4 of Cups can talk about boredom or discontentment right now in your emotional life. But the beauty of the 4 of Cups is there is a cup coming in. And by the way, as soon as I put this down, it is mirroring the Ace of Cups. And in the 4 of Cups, that cup that's coming in, I feel it's coming from the hand of divine. Another meaning of this card is using your spiritual discernment. You've learned. I feel like you've learned to really trust your intuition. There may be days you second guess it. Don't beat yourself up. Your guides don't expect that you're going to listen all the time or even know exactly what this, like I definitely feel like they're going to send each of you signs. Um, but again, if you miss the sign, please send it again. Or maybe you never even noticed it. Well, your guides will already send it again. How interesting. 4 of Cups mirroring the Ace of Cups, where the 4 of Cups talks about a cup coming in. And she's looking at that 10 of Cups, almost dreaming about it. Like, this is what I dream for us. The Hangman, unfortunately, has put time before the connection, but chances are, there's something I want you to think about. As a twin flame, and I am a twin flame myself, We really are the soul to each, or the mirror to each other's soul. And the lessons that we have not learned yet, but were presented to us, we will see through them. And that's where sometimes energy feels restrictive, but it's really not meant to be restrictive. It's meant to teach. It's so that you can learn. Now, the reason I'm saying that is and this is why sometimes twins don't really come together until later in life. It's really a sense of protection because there are lessons and even blessings that each individual soul has. And I feel like, if we come together too early, then there could be a lot of restriction because we're going to see everything that we haven't cleared. And if we don't know that, we're going to look at it as their energy when it's actually our energy being mirrored back to us, and vice versa. Okay, keep going. Five of Cups. Interesting. Five of Cups. This is where I'm focusing on the cups that have been knocked over. I feel like you're thinking of them. It is a five. Change is what it needs. And I feel like what it's saying is when you focus on them, try not to, how do I say this? Like, it's hard to tell someone not to be sad when you're sad. And this can certainly talk about that sadness. But I feel like what this is saying is focus your mind elsewhere. Kind of like I felt the masculine did. And this is why I feel the Nine of Pentacles is also here. It's their stability. It may be a business they created. It's definitely telling me that this person is not coming into the picture broke. But I feel a sense of loving what I do. And I feel like that can help you too. Now, the truth of the Five of Cups is there's two cups behind this person. It doesn't exist in the sadness. It doesn't exist in the what was. It exists in the what wants to be. And then we have the Three of Pentacles. Wow. This tells me you're very much alike. You're different, but very much alike. I love the Three of Pentacles in a love reading because it is about being your true, authentic self. It is definitely your creativity. And for some of you, I feel like if you focus your mind there, because I feel like divine is saying the rest will just follow. But until then, instead of being like, I don't know. I mean, I understand it. Don't get me wrong. But I do feel like this is asking you to refocus your mind if you feel like you're in that Five of Cups energy. Now, again, this is about each of the twins feeling or being loved for exactly who they are. All of you and all of them. This is appreciation. of you, and maybe even what you do. And I kind of love the Three of Pentacles under the masculine's Nine of Pentacles, because I often feel like twins can collaborate, can create businesses together. Like they put their minds together. Watch out, world. Watch out, world. Okay. So it's like I don't want to get rid of this, but I do have to slide it up. We need to make more room. And who knows why I'm doing the reading in this way, but this is the way I felt called to do it. Normally, I do the masculine over here, the feminine over here, and then connect the two. Today, it's about it's about communication, and I feel like it's telepathic more than anything. Now, I am noticing how these two threes are mirroring each other. By the way, 33. When I think of 33, I think about mastering. And 33 is the energy of pure love. And here it is, literally mirroring each other, just as twin flames do. Okay. All right. So now that we know where the masculine energy is at, where the feminine's energy is at, what the masculine is thinking, what the feminine is thinking, I want to know what's next. I want to know what's next. What happens next? And I'm looking at the masculine first. And I want to know what the masculine feels is next. Interesting that we just got the Emperor, where I said the Emperor, and then here he is. So the Emperor can be the card. Well, it is a card of Aries. But in no way do I feel like everyone is seeing in Aries. So let me tell you what I feel the Emperor showed up, why it showed up. The Emperor is someone who has lived a lot of life. And I feel like this is something twins go through. There's a lot of experiences that they go through separately. And it is about learning and growing and evolving. And that's exactly what the Emperor has done. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this person owns their own business. If they don't own their own business, then they're pretty high up. This is also the father figure. And I'm saying that as a sense of comfort. I don't know why. Don't get mad at me when I say I don't know why. And all I mean by that is Spirit's putting that within me. And I haven't quite figured out why yet. We have the Six of Pentacles. Well, remember how we just talked about 33? This is that fine art of give and take. This is learning the lesson. But yes, I do have to give. But I feel like the harder part of the lesson is truly learning how to receive and allowing oneself to receive unencumbered. And that may sound easy, but I already know it's not for everyone. So that's been part of the soul's lesson. And then look at this. Well, hello, marriage card. By the way, Mirroring the Ace of Cups, this is commitment. It's interesting because it's coming under the Four of Cups, where the feminine is definitely reflecting upon love. And not just reflecting, but I feel like actively letting his guides know that I'm ready for love. But then I have to ask you, do you truly feel ready? Because remember, that means the ego's got to go. But in the Four of Wands, that's exactly what that is. That is true love. That is true commitment. That is the energy of wanting to spend the rest of my life with someone. And I feel like with the masculine starting as a page and now showing as the emperor, wow, I feel like there's been tremendous growth. You may not know that though, because I feel like there's someone out there going like, well, not with mine. But this may be energy that you're just not aware of yet. And their guides have something to say about this also. Okay. This may be why there needed to be some time. You may have disconnected with someone because many times twin flames, you may meet, like Sam and I met when we were teenagers, but then we broke up. And 40 years later, he reached out and called me out of the blue. And I know many of you know the story. And the reason why I tell it often is because it was something that was completely unexpected to me. Did I think about him? Yes. It's funny because, I don't know, my daughter and I were having a conversation and I said something about Sam back in the day. And she goes, oh, I know all about Sam. I'm like, how would you know all about Sam? And she said, because that's all you talked about. And I said, really? Did I? Because I don't remember that. She's like, yeah. She goes, I know your love story. Huh. Hello, sun. Hello, illumination. Hello, playfulness. This is like a dark cloud has been lifted. And now you can see clearly. They can see clearly. It's coming over the Five of Cups. Or coming under the Five of Cups. What a beautiful line here. Let's get the last card out. Or what wants to come out. Oh, I shouldn't have said what a beautiful line because then we get the Ten of Swords. But the Ten of Swords sitting next to the sun. This tells me that somewhere along the way there has been a repeat pattern. And that may be also the Three of Swords. Like I kept giving my energy to the wrong people. Or I kept giving my love to the wrong people. But in the same breath, Spirit doesn't want you to regret. Because, especially because you're on this twin flame journey, everything you have learned, everything you have been through has taught you. And it's taught you well. And it's so important to know about these repeat patterns. I don't feel like this is talking about the two of you because I don't feel like a twin would do this. This is someone who just literally, this is someone who's a lot of ego. Not the person who's taking the daggers, the person who's giving the daggers. And, this is when I just expect bad things to happen, and they do. But part of me feels like this is what the masculine's been dealing with, and this is where this separation or this cutting of ties comes in. I feel like we have someone who, it's interesting because you have the runner and chasing energy of the twin flames. But I'm not really feeling that here. What I'm feeling is more about the experiences that each has gone through. And I feel like the Emperor, there I go saying the Emperor, but it is the Emperor. Let's just say the Divine Masculine. I feel like there's something that has repeated in his life. And the sun definitely illuminates that. So that's a good thing. But the sun's also illuminating the feminine to the masculine. So, kind of beautiful the way they think of you. Like you are the brightness within my day. And for those who haven't come together, or maybe you are in you're in no contact, or maybe you just haven't met yet. I just haven't met you yet. The lessons are still that important. So, look at the masculine. I feel like one of the lessons he also learned, he may, for a time period, had been a taker. And what I mean by that, in love, he could have certainly been someone who thought more about himself than a partner. But the truth is, I feel like it's because who he ended up with. Like, and I have a feeling it was free will. Now, it could be karmic. This could be like a karmic lesson and an opportunity for him to pay that karma back. And then it's paid off for eternity. And by the way, if there are karmic lessons, your guides will try to keep you apart so that you can complete those lessons. The soul comes into this lifetime, yes, to find love, but truly to find oneself. We're born with amnesia. We can't remember our past lives, at least the majority of us. But here's the thing. If you think of every past life, and it would be so hard to move forward because you would take, you take the beautiful things, but you would also take the hard things. But I do feel like there's an opportunity to reflect and understand, there was some karma here. And this was the lifetime that I wanted to complete it. And so they do. And that is a good thing. Like, let them complete that before they come to you. I know some would be like, but I want them now. But if they're in the middle of this soul's lesson, then your soul really doesn't. Because your soul would understand, like, this is an opportunity for them to pay that karma back so that it can be eliminated from their life, hence not move forward. And you both may have had a very similar lesson. Okay, well, now that we know the masculine, I'll slide up just a little bit more. I know I'm running out of room. All right, feminine. The Knight of Wands. You know what I feel like? I feel like this is your old self. This is when being playful was just the way you were. Carefree, right? She's like going to the beat of her own drum. I feel like if you know who this person is, even though I feel this even energetically, like the remembrance of that part of you. But this is for you to remember that part of you, like they will. But it's more important that you do. This is back when you weren't afraid to take chances, when you were seeking adventure, and adventure found you. Two of Wands. Okay, I like this. The main reason I really like this is because this is someone who's not living in a fear based energy. And when I say that you mirror each other, for some of you, that's exactly what this is talking about. Because I always notice this one wand against the wall, but she's holding her wand. She's got a globe, a map. She's thinking, where do I want to go? What adventure do I want to have? And I feel like it's this openness that ushers in what's next. And I don't feel like she's even expecting it. Well, let me put it a different way. I don't feel like there's any limitations. I'm just looking at the world as my oyster. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? But I have a feeling someone has been left behind. So just like the masculine, I feel like the feminine has gone through similar energy. She's clear. She's not looking back. And she's in present moment energy. And then look at this, the Six of Swords. So it's like each of you have these energies that are asking to be cleared. Six of Swords is the moving on energy, but the moving on from toxicity. It can even be one's own thoughts, though. Six of Swords temporarily can feel difficult, and that's just mainly for those who may have a little fear of change. But this is good change, like good trouble. Especially sitting next to the Two of Wands, coming under the Four of Wands. It's like you're making a choice here. Some of you may decide to move. It's interesting because some of you, when I see the sun, I often feel like hometown energy. But I feel like maybe why I feel hometown is the nostalgia of it. Like it doesn't have to be moving back home. I wouldn't be surprised though if a few of you are. Or maybe they are. Maybe divine is about to connect you. Speaking of connection, I haven't even brought out the crystal vision yet. Hello, Destiny. Under the sun, mirroring the magician. How beautiful. It means it's destined in this lifetime. Not all twin flames are going to come together in every lifetime, because sometimes our souls choose a different set of lessons or a different set of adventures. Because each time our soul comes here, it is to grow and to learn and to evolve and truly to bring you back to yourself. So hello, Destiny. Come on in. Mirroring the magician, connected to the sun. Wow. And it feels like the energy of the Six of Swords, that moving on, again, from toxic people, toxic thoughts, toxic communication. It's just literally saying enough is enough. I have a different idea of how I want my life to look, but this is you taking action. We have the Strength card. And the Strength card really talks, well, first of all, it's an 8, number of infinity again. And it is also mirroring the magician. So the Strength card is really looking within. This is truly where we find our answers. This is talking about everything you've been through, but have overcome. And what does that do? It just makes you stronger. I feel like what you earn when this lesson is learned, which means that you have found balance within, is courage. Look at this woman. She's half lion, half woman. This beautiful, gentle little lamb down there. It's like the Empress. I can be powerful and gentle at the same time. And then the King of Cups. Well, if there's any king that I'd want to see relating to love, it's the King of Cups. Because the King of Cups to me is someone who, when they have evolved, if they started back as the Page of Cups, immature, still growing, still learning. I could have certainly given my cup to others and then paid the price of that. But now I'm sitting here as a king. And to me, the King of Cups is someone who really appreciates a relationship, appreciates having that special partner by their side. And this Strength card, I don't feel like it's just for you. I feel like it's for both. Like both having to find that balance within of the shadow, of the light. Okay, I'm just going to look what's at the bottom. Well, there's our Empress. There is our Empress. There is our Emperor. And many of you know that's what I look for in a twin flame relationship. The Emperor and the Empress. Oh my God. 10 of Pentacles on the bottom. House of Abundance. The Empress has the 5 of Swords. Wow. She's got the 6 of Swords here. And by the way, I can't be the Empress and live or be part of the toxicity of the Five of Swords. Doesn't mean that, let's say it's family, and I can't separate myself. But what you can do is just quiet your own mind, not take on their energy. And you're not buying it. Like whatever they're selling. And look at that, the Five of Wands underneath that. Wow. Look at this, the Two of Wands under the Ten of Pentacles. Two of Wands. Look how they're relating. And even this, Judgment. Oh, and even the Queen of Cups mirroring the King of Cups. The Empress mirroring the Emperor. Wow. Judgment, your spiritual team. Calling you to the present moment. Listen, it may be somewhat buried, but it is recognizing the feminine's Two of Wands. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. Well, when you come together, let's just call it the Ten of Pentacles. But not only the Ten of Pentacles, we have the Ten of Cups. We have the Four of Wands. We have everything we need. And maybe what we need more than anything is understanding. All right. I'm going to bring in the crystal vision, and what was I going to say? So my plan, this is why I don't make plans in a reading, was to connect the two of you through the crystal vision. But because it's already showing the connection, I'm just going to ask if there's any other messages that maybe I need to know or we need to know about that I could have skipped over. You know, I'm just leaving it completely in Divine's hands. What do we need to know? I tell you what I heard. Patience. Patience. But listen, I don't feel like this patience, especially with the magician, connected to that Ace of Cups. And we're in the year of the magician. We have the moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. But I feel like this is the two of you connecting in the dream state. Which again, I won't say it's easy, but if you do go to bed at night, well, you do. But when you lay your head on the pillow at night, ask to dream. Like say to your guides, I want to dream about my twin. But I want to dream about my twin with what I need to know. So you are looking for clarity, but it's coming through the dream state. Now, sometimes spirit will use your dreams when your mind is, let's say, during your waking hours, not so easily able to focus. Again, if you miss signs, then spirit will use your dreams. Three of Wands, optimism. That's why I heard patience. This is literally saying to Divine, I know my love will come in. And I know it will come in its divine time. That I gotta trust. But in the meantime, I'm gonna stay optimistic. And that is a choice. I'm going to trust that when it's my time, it is my time. Now, because you have so much energy, both of you, they're calling you to the present moment. Boy, I don't feel like this is far off. Who knows? Maybe March. If. Eight of Swords, self-created prison. So, you know, this talks about walls that were put up, walls to protect us. But what that really does is it doesn't protect us. It's fine if you want to do it. You know what I mean? Like there's no judgment over it. But to think that it protects you, it just doesn't. What it can do is block your intuition. And truly, when you learn, and I feel like this is part of the quest for twin flames, is learning to put these walls down. And what you want to trust is your intuition. That will protect you. If there are red flags, you'll see them. But in the Eight of Swords, much more difficult. Do I think your spiritual team can still get through? I do. But in a way, I feel like this is a lesson. And they don't want to interrupt lessons. And when you put these walls down, I'm telling you, it's freedom. You know, the walls doesn't mean that you're saying, immediately I want to fall in love. What you're saying is, I am going to trust my intuition. And my intuition is my GPS in this lifetime. Not fear. The Page of Wands, my risk taker. The Seven of Cups, interesting. Wow. And the Four of Cups. So, boy, do I feel like this is an answered prayer. Why? Because the Seven of Cups, and I feel like this is more for who's ever here. Because if you know, it kind of wouldn't make sense if the person's not here. But anyway, Seven of Cups is putting the ball in your court. It means that a cup is coming in and you are making the decision. It is answering that Four of Wands, where it's asking you to use your spiritual discernment, not your fear-based mind. Now we see why it's even more important to put down those walls, if this is truly what I want. In any love, the walls have to come down. So literally, it feels to me like this is calling back to your youthful self in a way, your risk-taking self, the time like when you went to the beat of your own drum and no excuses for it. And I have a feeling that there were those who loved you because of it. I'm not sure you loved them back. But what I mean is, I have a feeling you had a lot of secret admirers. And I feel like this is asking you, bring that part of you back out again. Like, allow this to be, like, try not to put a whole lot of restrictions upon it. And instead, go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Literally, that cup is in that Seven of Cups. And it is your spiritual discernment that is going to decide whether you say yes or you say no. Okay. I'm going to bring the romance angels out. I feel like that was its own message right there. But excuse the mess, but let's bring the romance angels out and see if there's any other words of wisdom for this reading. You know, this is a type of reading, and I'm not trying to push that you watch this twice, but sometimes, especially the first time, I feel like when people listen, they're listening with their human ears. But then something may trigger you, and you go back and listen, but now you have your spiritual ears on. And all of a sudden, you're hearing messages in a different way. I know that to be true. Um, and those who have gotten personal readings from me, they know that it's also true because new messages keep coming. All right. I just love that we have the Emperor and the Empress here. Forgiving and learning. Oh my gosh, such an important soul lesson. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. That's speaking to the Five of Cups. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. Forgiving and learning. Let's not leave learning out of it. Trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. Wow. Hello, true love. This is a romance of a lifetime. How could it not be? How could it not be? Trust that this true love, the two of you, will find each other again. Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. So, goodbye, Eight of Swords, and hello, Three of Wands. And then last, but certainly not least, very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Forgiving and lessons are learning. Trust. True love. And boy, I just have to thank our guides for bringing both the Emperor and the Empress out. And then very soon. Is this for every single person that's watching? Maybe. But what I would say is do not skip over the energies that were teaching us to help raise our own vibration because that is a must. It really is. True love. This is a romance of a lifetime. Hello, Four of Wands, the highest level of love in the tarot. We opened the reading with the Ace of Cups connected directly to the Magician. Well, hello, Year of the Magician. So right off the bat, that kind of answered that question. Both of you are wishing upon the same star. I feel like you're just being hauled back to that, I want to say youthful self, but as I say that, I think, it doesn't have to mean that you were young at the time. Your natural energy. That's what I'm hearing. Your natural energy before fear raised its ugly head in your life. This is a type of energy that flows, and we need to allow it to flow. Holy cow. I'm going to let it be. I'm going to let it be. Where else can I take it? Right? Where else can I take it? Divine's just saying, trust in us. This is your true love. This will be a romance of your lifetime. And don't be mad that there were lessons that each of your souls wanted to learn on their own. But ultimately, if you do, and they do, and then you come together, even if you were together before, but you come back together after learning those lessons, and for some, hang off that karma, wow, you're like brand new. They're like brand new. Okay, I'm going to let that be. I know I say that about a million times, but I'm going to let it be because I feel like this took us to the mountaintop. And I like it up here. I thank you guys. I thank our spirit guides. I love you. I'll see you next time at our table. By the way, for some, and I'm not trying to push it, I promise you, but I feel like the past life reading and this reading, I see the similarities. So let's just put it this way. If you're meant to watch it, something will stir inside of you. Anyway, there I go talking again. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye. Cannot wait to hear your comments. Bye-bye.